Hi, welcome to the Tabletop Foundry, a place all about board games and tabletop things. I'm Chris Krupp, and today I'm going to be showing you Casting Shadows. This is the exclusive edition from Kickstarter, and it is a 2 to 6 player game. Let's get into it. So this is Casting Shadows, the exclusive edition from Kickstarter. Let me preface with I am a big fan of this company, Unstable Games. They made Unstable Unicorns and Here to Slay, and my family fell in love with Here to Slay. We have all the expansions to date, and we play a lot. So I had high expectations when I came into this. Um, Also, going into it, I did not really look deeply into the game because I just decided to go into it blindly because I love the company, so I didn't even know what I was going into. Um, Here's a dice tower that came with it. Um, Probably won't use that much. It's more fun, I think, to just roll dice on the table. I did not go for the $250 package. We just got the wooden meeples. They're pretty cute. The evolved forms. Um, Kind of wish we got the acrylics, but these will do fine. Other than that, everything is here. All the content. We also got the Casting Shadows Ice Storm expansion. I have not opened that yet, but I'll probably open that on camera. Um, anyway, um, so this is inside the box. Little hex tile reference sheet, which comes in handy. I kind of wish they had more of these for everybody to look at on the table, not just this one reference sheet. But um, that one's super nice, and I enjoy the quality of this. Everything in this box super high quality, and the production value is over the top. These are we got Haze Green Tongue, Irish Papillion, Nuzzle Thornwood, Kit Gale, Tusk Swiftwave, and Frill Lilypad. These are your characters you can play. Here are your hex tiles. So every character has their own home hex tile that they start on. I believe this one is for the dragon. I'm not sure of all these. This is the desert one where you get your counter spells. Little sea reef. Anyway, all these tiles do something different. And the art is just super, super cool. Anyway. So those are your hex tiles. I believe there is 10 of those inside the core box. You got your spell deck that you can go buy or collect around the map. So you got all kinds. So these are resources you can pick up, but most of these are spell cards that you pick up and cause mayhem against your foes. And then You got these really, really cool custom dice. This is like your dark shard. You don't want those. That gives you damage if you don't negate them. Your shadow energy, your blue gems, your blue orbs, and then you have the equivalent with red gems and red orbs. Sorry if that was out of focus. I'm not sure. What else? So you got the Casting Shadows companion deck. So these are really cool too. Well, not those ones here. So once you get into your shadow form, you can pick a different pet to have or companion. And some of these I feel like are almost game breaking. The powers are super strong. Like this one, the Hydrattle Snake. On your turn, you may spend up to 5 action points instead of 4. That's huge. The Occult Octo. Each time you protect, you may deal 1 damage to an adjacent hex tile. So I mean, these are super strong. I feel like they're the equivalent to slaying a monster in Here to Slay. Just super powerful. And then these ones are your counter spells. So fly away, reveal this card when your enemy deals damage to you, travel to any hex tile. Pointed Shield, reveal this card when an enemy deals damage to you. With an attack spell, reduce that damage by 2. So it's just an array of different protection spells. These little tiles, I mean, I feel like they're almost pointless. The only time I would ever use them is if you're using one of the resource cards from the spell deck, or you gain an ability through a spell. That's the only time. Here, wait a second. Anyway, like this. Otherwise, I feel like those are somewhat pointless, but I mean, I guess it's always good to have them on hand. I've played this game at 2 players and a 5-player game, and so you collect shadow energy throughout the game. And once you get to 3 shadow energy, you get to transform into your shadow form. So you flip it over, and this is your health dial on that side. But now you're Frill the Regenerator. So once you build up to 5 shadow energy, you get to spend 5 shadow energy to gain 5 HP. This is huge. I played this character in my 5-player game, and I feel like it was a little OP, especially in late game, because if somebody doesn't hit you hard fast, you're just gonna regain all your health. So I feel like that was a very strong character. So let's set up a grid of hex tiles to see kind of how the game is laid out. So in a 2 to 4-player game, you need these 3 basic tiles. Find these right here. In this format. And then each player, this is Frill's, and this is the owl one, I can't remember his name. Each player, whoever is playing these characters, starting with the first player can lay their tile on the grid. So you kind of have a choice of where you start. They said they recommend to play with at least 7 tiles in a 2 to 4 player game. In the 5 player game that we played, we use all but 1 tile, I believe. But this is how it would be set up, give or take. And then you would shuffle these cards. These are magic cards. Set that, and then you draw and put them adjacent to each one of the outside tiles, except for the desert tile. The desert tile, and set those nearby. The desert tile will get these counter spells. Those are to guard against anybody attacking you. Doesn't always work in your favor, but most of the time it will stop incoming damage. These are your companion deck, and you flip over 3 of them. You put those to the top. And then as soon as you turn it, somebody transforms into their shadow form, they can take 1 of those. And then it doesn't cost anything extra. You just get to keep it for the rest of the game. So there's an incentive to get to your shadow form first, so you have a good choice. And then you would put your starting token on your spot with the owl and the axolotl on the spot. And essentially, that is how the game is set up. Pretty simple. You can get the game to the table really fast. And then, so on your turn, you'll roll these 5 dice. So let's do that. And so this is your orbs. You got shadow energy, a crystal, and a dark shard. So your swirls or your orbs and crystals are resources. So let's take, for instance, this card right here, Bubble Trouble. You have to spend 1 blue orb and 1 blue crystal to pick this up. And you have to be on the adjacent text tile to get it. So in order to do that, I would move. Well, first I would pick up this blue gem, because that's a free pickup. And so that's 1 action. You have 4 actions to do this. So I'd pick that up, I'd move down here, and then I would spend this blue gem in this spiral, or this orb, to pick this card up. Right here it says to discard the card to get one of those little cardboard tokens, but I just feel like, why don't you just hang on to the card? But I would discard this at that time. And so I have 1 energy and a red and a purple gem. So the purple gem and the purple orb are wild. So they could be blue or red. So my choices right now, I could negate this for an action. But honestly, I don't think that's really worth it. I think I will honestly come down here. That's my third action, and spend that as a blue and a red and pick up that card, which I can turn one orb in my resource pool into one gem of the same color. And and Bubble Trouble, spend one blue gem to deal 3 damage to an enemy in range. And this is your range pattern. So it'd be essentially 1 hex away I could do damage. So, closer look at this board. Everybody starts at 18 health, and then this starts at 0. But at the end of your turn, if you have any of your shadow energy left over, you put it into your pool, your shadow pool. And so once you hit 3, you can just flip your board over. But we're at 1 right now. And that would be a typical turn. So from your 4 actions, you can choose to travel. That costs 1 point. Cast a spell at another opponent. That costs 1 point. Re-roll your dice if you don't like the results. That costs 1 point. Protecting against a dark shard. To get rid of that, that costs 1 point. To refresh, I don't like that card. Let's draw a new one. That costs 1 point. Ooh, Sinister Screech. I do like that. Add this to my spell book. That costs 1 point. So let's say it's Phil's turn. Let's roll. So they got a lot of spirals. That is not the best situation. They do have 1 red crystal. So in this case, I would save the red crystal and the purple orb or spiral. I've been calling them spirals, but they're orbs. And I would re-roll for an action these to try to get more combos. So there, I got another crystal and another orb. Well, another 2 orbs. So now my options are pretty open. I was really hoping for that shadow energy, but I'm not going to waste another action. So for one of my actions, I'm going to come up to this counter deck spell, and since Iris the Owl just got these 2 cards, he's kind of more deadly than he was before. So he's going to get some counter spells. So counter spell, you have to spend any color of gem and any color of orb, and you get to pick one up. So he's going to spend that blue gem and 1 red orb. So he got the pointed shield. Nice. Reveal this card when an enemy deals damage to you with an attack spell. Reduce that damage by 2. That'll be handy. And then he's just going to pick up another, because why not? Fly away. Reveal this card when an enemy deals damage to you. Travel to any hex tile. So in that 1 turn, you just got 2 of those cards. You can have a max of 5 cards in your spell book, which that's what they call it, at a time. If you want to pick up another card, you can discard one, but you have to keep your hand limit to 5. Oh, and I totally forgot about this paper. So Frill Starting on the floating lake, he gets a blue orb at the beginning of his turn. So another reason I would use these tiles, but not very many tiles give you items like that. But I would take one of these tiles, put it next to your dice. Um, yeah. So there's that. Need to remember what the tiles do. That's one of my gripes with this game is I feel like the tiles should have some kind of um, iconology on them because looking at this every time, you tend to forget about it. But um, that is what it is. So essentially, that's kind of how a turn works in this game. You go back and forth, you deal damage to each other, and you go until somebody dies. And then once they die, they're kicked out of the game, and or they, and you're. It's pretty much the last person standing wins. In more than two players, if you die, then you're eliminated, and um, you're just kicked out of the game. Which I'm not a big fan of player elimination. It can be a good thing or a fine thing if the game doesn't go on very long, but player elimination kind of stinks because you the player that got kicked out usually kind of leaves the table or they're sitting at the table displaying with their phone. So it's not a good mechanism in my mind. So let's open up the casting shadows expansion, the ice storm. I believe this comes with 2 extra characters. So polar bear. All right. Let's see what it is on the cards. 3 more hexes, which that's kind of annoying because I'm definitely going to forget about that. More icons or tiles. So we got Frost, Polar Paw, and Talon, Light Feather. So it looks like we got a polar bear and a hippogriff. So what does Frost look like? So Frost the Merciless. Spend 4 shadow energy to choose an adjacent hex tile. Freeze each enemy on that hex tile. That's pretty cool power. And then Talon the Dark Storm. Spend 4 shadow energy to stun each enemy on your current hex tile. So their powers are pretty similar. Yeah, they're pretty cool. And then we got 2 hexes. The art is awesome. No complaint there. Um, yeah, that's kind of a cool addition. Excited to play with it. Casting Shadows. Um, I was just excited about it because I really like the company behind it. Um, but honestly, my first game was a 5-player game, and I was kind of let down. I just felt like the I mean, I like the luck in Here to Slay, but I felt like there was a lot of luck in this game. Everything is down to those dice rolls. I guess there's a little bit of choice to like where you go on the hex tiles, and the hex tiles can be important, such as I believe it's this tile. If you begin your turn here, it can heal you for 2. That's pretty powerful. Some can negate damage, but otherwise, besides that, and like choosing what cards you're picking up, you can get really unlucky, and it happened where you can get like a whole roll of shards, and then the next person next to you, in their first turn, can turn into their shadow form. Um, that's kind of lame, but um, for if you're playing a 2 to 3 player game, I feel like this game could play fast enough where it's more like a kids game, or like a beer and pretzels game where you're not caring as much and you're just having a good time. Um, and my after my first 5 player game, I was honestly kind of ready just to get rid of it. But I was like, I mean, I'm gonna review this game. Decided to give it another chance. I played it with my wife, and we played it fairly fast. Played it in like probably 20 minutes, and it was a lot more fun if you keep it going and don't have long terms. I mean turns. This game has a place, and honestly I feel like it is a good game. So I have a 4-year-old, and I feel like this would be a really really good game to start getting her used to mechanics, um, in tabletop games. So I'm going to keep it around for that reason. And then also introducing it to people that aren't huge gamers, I feel like this would be a hit. Um, Other than that, it's a little bit too light for me, but um, the production value is awesome. The art on these is great. You can't go wrong with this cute little frost bear, but or Mr. Talon, especially partial to Frill. But yeah. So all in all, it was a pretty good game, but a little bit too much luck for me. Um, but I don't know if that's your thing. If you don't mind that, go pick this up. It's pretty. I kind of wish I got the acrylic tiles. You can look those up online, or you can post a picture here, I guess. But yeah. Other than that, this is Casting Shadows. Have you played this game yet? If you have, please let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your like take on it, to see if I'm aligned with the public a little bit. But this is my half attempt to make a review. Uh, Thank you for coming to watch my content. I very much appreciate it. My channel is already starting to grow. I'm excited for the future. So any criticism or feedback you can give me, I'm open to it. I just want to make my channel do better. So um, thanks for coming here. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye, guys.